How much money Chanel has made over the years. Hey guys, today we're going to talk about how much money Chanel has made over the years. Let's get right into it. Chanel, the premier French fashion house, has unquestionably made a bold and lasting impression on women's haute couture in the 20th century. The House of Chanel has grown from humble beginnings on a Parisian street in the early 20th century to become one of the world's leading luxury brands. Born Gabrielle Bonheur Chanel and orphaned at a young age, Chanel was taught to sew by the aunts raising her, putting her on the path to becoming one of the world's true fashion greats. Unbeknownst to many, Chanel sang in the fashionable French cafes of the time, where she was later to be christened Coco. The House of Chanel first opened its doors as a millinery in 1909. Coco plied her trade here to the fashionable modern mistresses of France's hunting and sporting elite, as well as friends of her socialite and textile businessman lover, Etienne Balsan. Coco quickly became known for her exquisite and beautifully decorated hats, which drew the attention of another socialite, English polo player Arthur Boyd Chappell. Coco quickly became friends with some of the time's most creative visionaries, including Diaghilev, Picasso, Stravinsky, and Cocteau. She shared a desire with these historical peers to break the preconceived molds of the time and to constantly strive to create new ways of expressing herself through inspirational fashion designs. Cocteau has even stated that she has, by a kind of miracle, worked in fashion according to rules that would appear to have value only for painters, musicians, and poets. This unwavering determination and exceptional talent resulted in the creation of Chanel's 4 timeless classics: the stylistically versatile little black dress, the cardigan jacket, the perfume number 5, the Chanel, and the Chanel suit, all of which helped cement the House of Chanel's place in couture history. By the beginning of the 1920s, almost all Chanel garments featured quilted fabric and leather finishing. The quilted construction was used to reinforce the fabric, design, and ultimately the finish, resulting in a fashionable piece of clothing that retained its form and function while being worn. The most famous use of these haute couture techniques is the iconic Chanel suit, which consists of a knee-length skirt and cardigan-style jacket trimmed and decorated with black embroidery and gold-colored buttons. Its practicality allowed for a modern, feminine appearance while remaining comfortable, as it was made up of 2 or 3 pieces. It was an instant success and was eagerly promoted as the new afternoon and evening uniform, a fitting example of Coco's design philosophy that simplicity is the keynote of all true elegance. The company's couture strength grew over the years, with the introduction of its first costume jewelry in 1924, a pair of black and white pearl earrings. Coco introduced her first signature cardigan jacket in 1925, just over 10 years later, followed by the famous little black dress in 1926. The dress's design is regarded as a feat of cut and proportion. The little black dress, made from traditionally elegant materials such as lace and soft weightless silk, made women wearing anything else feel unsuitably overdressed. The high-quality design, construction, and finish of these garments contributed to Coco Chanel's professional reputation as a meticulous couturière. In the 1930s, Chanel expanded her clothing line to accommodate a wider range of women, designing summer dresses and evening gowns with an elongated silhouette. Coco presented a diamond jewelry exhibition in 1932, which included the iconic comet and fountain diamond stylish necklaces. However, the impending Second World War would cast an unexpected and traumatic shadow over the company's operations. Coco Chanel closed the House of Chanel during World War II, leaving only the jewelry and perfumery collections available. Wertheimer and Coco renegotiated the original 1924 Parfums Chanel contract in 1947, and Coco Chanel eventually returned to her native France after 8.5 years in Switzerland. With Christian Dior taking Chanel's place as the darling of French haute couture, Coco decided to make another attempt to reclaim control and obtain capital from Wertheimer, allowing her to respond to Dior's challenge. This rekindled relationship aided in re-establishing the House of Chanel as France's most prestigious fashion label. Coco hired and collaborated with jeweler Robert Goussens in 1953 to create bijouterie and gemstone jewelry, particularly long strand necklaces of black and white pearls. This was followed in 1955 by the introduction of Chanel's iconic leather handbags with straps made of gold or metal and leather chains. The numerical version of the launch date, 2.55, became the internal signature for that specific handbag model. Coco worked and designed until her death on January 10, 1971, at the age of 87. Her assistants took over the design of the Chanel line until the great Karl Lagerfeld, the modern godfather of fashion, took over the Chanel haute couture design in 1983 and ready-to-wear design in 1984. Lagerfeld continued to draw inspiration from the Chanel archives, reaffirming the significance of Coco's contribution to women's fashion. The House of Chanel expanded its collections in the 1980s, beginning with the 1984 release of a new fragrance in honor of its founder, followed by the 1986 release of its first watch. Coco's desire to constantly push boundaries in all of their collections and marketing is deeply ingrained in Chanel's corporate rationale. The recent bold decision to use actor Brad Pitt as the first man in a major advertising campaign for a women's fragrance exemplifies this trait. Given the controversy and success, it is one that Coco would have been very proud of. Chanel's global brand value was approximately $15.3 billion in 2022, which can only be obtained after decades of hard work. That's all for today, and we'll be sure to catch you all in the next one.